Today I want to share with you all the reasons why I really love the country of Poland, but also mention a shocking experience that happened right at the end of our trip. Be sure to stick around to the end to not miss out on all the details. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk to you about something that really took me by surprise. My experience in Poland. I've traveled to a lot of places, but Poland genuinely shocked me in the best way possible. And I want to share with you guys some of the things that really stood out to me when traveling to Warsaw, the capital. Because prior to going to Poland, there was a lot of misconception about how things were portrayed on the media, especially on the Western side. And I just kind of wanted to go there myself and explore it to see if it really was what is portrayed on the media. But I think after spending, I would say we were there for roughly about 4 or 5 days or so, I really had a completely different opinion to what I previously expected prior to traveling. Now, first off, I want to speak about how friendly the people were in the actual country. I traveled there, as you guys would probably know, with my wife and my baby, and it was just so nice whenever we were walking around or we would go to like a restaurant or even just like a corner shop or a coffee shop. Polish people are genuinely extremely warm people and very, very friendly. They were very friendly to the baby, always smiling, always playing with her. You know, it was just a very nice experience to walk around and have that nice vibe. And honestly, I just wasn't expecting that vibe, because personally, when people typically speak about Polish people like in the UK or in other countries, they typically say they're kind of cold people. So that's what I was expecting. And because they're quite close to Eastern Europe, I had a conception in my mind that they're going to be a little bit standoffish or a little bit cold, but it was complete opposite. People were just super friendly, very welcoming, very hospitable, and also very helpful when we needed something. They were always willing to tell us where something was, and in kind of a happy way. You know, it was a nice experience overall. But there was something that did happen when we left the country at the airport, but I'm going to explain a little bit about that later in this video, actually at the end, because I want to cover these positives with you first and some of the one negative thing that happened that did kind of put a downer on it. That's when we flew with the local airlines, but as I say, I'll get into that later in this video. That is what really actually shocked me. I was blown away by how modern the city actually was, because prior to visiting Warsaw again in Poland, a lot of the pictures that I saw was always people just showing kind of the old town and the olden areas and just places that were genuinely a little bit run down. But it was really nice to see the area that we stayed was very close to the central station, and as soon as you walk out, there's all these skyscraper buildings and beautifully modern streets and great architecture. They have some incredible shopping malls, and everything just intertwines really, really well. And there's so much development going on within the city itself. There's a lot of new apartment buildings being built, so you can genuinely see that the economy is booming within the capital city of Warsaw. And it just, at times, it actually felt like I was in Liverpool Street in London. As most of you guys may already know, if you don't, I'm originally from the UK. So walking around at times, I genuinely felt like I was in Liverpool Street at some of the points, and then in West End in London, and also Shoreditch, because there was some areas that were quite funky and hip. It had loads of cafes and bars, and I was just like, you know what, this place is like really, really cool and funky, and it just really did surprise me. I just did not think or did not know that Poland could be like this, you know. The general infrastructure in Warsaw is top notch, from the smooth public transportation to the clean, well-maintained streets. Everything just works so efficiently. It's clear that Poland has invested a lot in its urban development. But it's not just the modern side of Poland that impressed me. It was actually the Old Town. It was probably the best Old Town I've ever visited in any of the neighboring countries, because I just came back from, prior to going to Poland, I was in Latvia. And the Old Town there is fairly nice, but the vast scale of the Old Town in Warsaw was very, very impressive. It was really big square with so many incredible restaurants, little cafes, bars. It was just very, very vibrant and a lot happening. The blend of history and charm is just perfect. As you walk through the streets, it feels like stepping back into time, but with all the convenience of the modern world. So it had like a nice twist that I haven't seen previously in some other old towns. And maybe you guys can let me know in the comments as well. What do you think? Do you think that the Warsaw Old Town is the best one you've ever visited before? talk about the food, guys. Bakeries, to be specific. I was amazed to find incredible bakeries on almost every corner. The smell of fresh bread and pastries is everywhere, and let me tell you, it's impossible to resist. Trying to be on a diet whilst walking through Warsaw, it was very, very hard because literally everywhere you looked there was like a bakery, a lovely cafeteria. You just wanted to go in there and buy a cake or a pastry or some fresh Polish bread. We definitely gained a few pounds even though we're walking around a lot in Warsaw, but it was just so hard to resist all your amazing pastries that Polish people have. I mean, let me know in the comments, guys, if you are Polish, how often are you visiting those bakeries, because I'm sure it's more than once a week, that's for sure.
Guys, have you ever been traveling throughout anywhere in the world and you've lost your wallet and always thought, how the hell am I going to get it back? But say goodbye to that worry because of today's sponsor of the video, and that is Extra Wallets. And they've got these beautiful design wallets, and the one that I'm currently holding right now is the Extra Slimline wallet, which is so uniquely designed. It's got this amazing pop-up where you just bring up all your cards super easy and fast, and it's such a lovely design. It fits in my pocket so easily, and I highly recommend it because there's been so many times when I've been traveling and I've lost my wallet, but luckily I found it on one occasion, but the other 2 occasions I've lost it. So to have the tracking device that links directly to my iPhone or to your Android, it's just such a game changer. So if you're ever out and about and you leave it in a cafe, you're not sure where you put it, you can just find my device on your iPhone and find exactly where it's located.
They are RFID protected, so you can stay safe amongst criminals that try to tap your card and steal money from it. And there's a variety of colors and designs, both for him and her. And also, if you're looking for a gift for somebody, for your friends, or maybe even Christmas, that's a little bit around the corner, it's a great gift idea. And guys, to get your savings, use code YAD at checkout to unlock extra savings on top of Extra's current promotions. Don't miss out on these deals, guys. Check the link in the description box below and the pinned comment to get yourself one of these wallets or some of the other beautiful designs they've currently got. One of the things I appreciate the most was how safe the city felt. Whether I was walking around during the day or at night, I honestly felt very secure. There's a real sense of calm and safety in the city, which makes exploring the city a lot more enjoyable, because honestly, being from London, when I go back to London now, I am just always on the lookout for either somebody trying to steal your phone whilst walking. You guys have probably seen the scenes all over Instagram and social media, how crazy it is now. So it was just genuinely nice to walk around Warsaw, you know, the capital city. Usually capital cities are very hectic and can be a little bit dangerous, but honestly just did not feel that in Warsaw. I felt like it was very safe. I felt like people were very relaxed, very chilled out. There was nothing to really fear whilst you're walking on the streets. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure maybe there's some streets and corners that people don't recommend going to, but personally for me, I didn't have that experience. For us as a family, you know, we're walking around and just genuinely felt very safe. So I think that's something that the Polish people can be proud of, that the government is keeping their country safe and their streets safe, because I think, as I say, you know, being a British citizen in the UK and just whenever I go back feeling like I have to always be careful, it's a bit of a nightmare. And just to give you guys a personal thing that has happened to me in terms of when I'm traveling, most of the things that are bad that happened to me have always happened back in the UK. So for example, things being stolen, like I've rented cars in the UK when I've had to travel around, and there's been 2 occasions where cars have been broken into. They've taken my suitcases from the car, my wallet. So yeah, honestly guys, UK could really learn from a country like Poland, but I guess it's going to take a lot of work for the UK because of so many reasons, which I'm not going to get into right now, but I'm sure you guys can probably imagine what those reasons are. If you love shopping, you will be happy to know that Poland, and Warsaw specifically, has great shopping malls. They're modern, spacious, and also have a great variety of stores. Whether you're looking for high-end brands or local products, you'll find it all in Warsaw. It was really nice for us, especially because we've got the little one, just to have a little walk around and explore what different types of shops there are in Warsaw. And it was very nice. We went to we went to the Westfield in Mokotów area, which is a little bit more of the younger generation chill there. And I also said in my last video, I was surprised to see a Westfield in Warsaw. I thought it was only over in UK and America. But a lot of you guys said in the comments that it used to be called Galleria Shopping Mall and now it's Westfield, and it's a fairly new development, so that's why it was fairly fresh. But there's also another shopping mall we visited, which was in the centre of Warsaw, which all the skyscrapers were, and again had a nice variety of shops, cafes. It's right next to the central station as well. And something that's very important, worth touching on, is the affordability of Poland. Well, especially the capital, because typically when you travel to capital cities, especially in Europe, they are extremely expensive. And it was just really nice to know that you could walk into a coffee shop and just get a coffee for like €2, and it was a really nice cappuccino, really enjoyable, or like a pastry for €1 or €2. And also just getting around in general is fairly cheap, and when it comes to rent prices, it was very good when it comes to Airbnb. The apartment that we rented in Warsaw cost us £55 per night, which is roughly around just over €60. And honestly, to get an apartment like that in, for example, the heart of London, you're easily paying over £100 minimum. So I'd say €150 or so in the heart of London. So we were in prime location as well. We had an incredible area with all the cafeterias below us, so many restaurants. We were literally 7 minutes walk to the shopping mall, to the central station. So we had everything on our doorstep. It was so good and really good value for money. And I think there's a lot of people that are starting to look into investing into Poland and living there because of just how good the economy is now, and also how affordable it is to have a high quality of life. I think there was somebody, I remember somebody in the comments section in my last video said they previously lived in London but moved back to Warsaw, and they have a great place to live and right in a central location, whereas if they were to try to do that in London, it would just be impossible. I can start to see now why other people are looking to live in other European cities, especially like Poland. But I think the downside of Poland probably is the winter, because I'm sure the winter can just be freezing, because I know how it is in countries like Poland and some of the Eastern Hemisphere countries, because they're just freezing. I lived in Latvia for some time, and the winter was just quite depressing, to be honest. Like very, very depressing, always dark, snowy, cold, and really not much to do. So there is a plus and negative to wherever you live. You just have to weigh out what really works for you. Now, as much as we loved our time in Poland, it wasn't all smooth sailing at the end. Fortunately, I had a pretty bad experience with Polish Airlines at the airport, and I think it's very important to share with you guys and just to get your general opinion on the subject. Maybe other people have gone through this before, and maybe just generally they can just fix up their customer service and how they treat people. But let me get into it and explain to you guys kind of what happened. So it all started from the check-in desk, so when we actually arrived. So we, as you guys know, we traveled with a family, myself, my wife and my baby. And when we got to the check-in desk, the gentleman that served us, we had all of our luggage and everything, and our hand luggage was slightly over the weight, and he literally made us take everything out and rearrange all the bags and basically separate it into another bag. We were not over the baggage allowance for all three of us. We only had one bag between the three of us. So I said, what's the difference of having one heavier bag? And my wife and the baby don't have their hand luggage, which we already had paid for the allowance. So he was like, no, you need to separate into 3 different bags. So it was just ridiculous, because it just logically doesn't make sense. It's still the same weight, but just in one bag. So he was just very, very difficult, and just didn't see that, didn't respect the fact that, we are with a baby. So just kind of be a little bit more lenient on the subject. So that was, a very unpleasant experience, and wasn't expecting that, because usually when we've flown with other airlines and they see you're with a baby, they're just a little bit more lenient and a little bit more caring, firstly. And this guy just did not have that kind of attitude. Don't know if he was having a bad day or what was going on, but he just was not in the mood to help or anything. He was just literally very strict and rigid with the whole process. Then the second bad experience I would say I had wasn't actually just with Polish Airlines, was with the airport security once they stamp you out of the country. So let me explain to you guys a little bit of a backstory what happened when we entered the country. This has actually happened in another European country that I visited as well. Don't know if it's because of Brexit and how the UK has affected all the systems and what's going on recently. But basically what happened is, when I arrived into Poland, obviously I'm a British citizen, but obviously UK are no longer in the EU. so bear that in mind. But when we arrived into Poland, there was no passport stamping section, or to check your passports to see which country you're from, which is very, very weird. We literally landed, we came from Latvia to Poland, Warsaw, and we landed at the airport, and we just literally came straight into the baggage area. There was no security to check your passport, so I didn't have any stamp when coming into Poland. Obviously, now being a British citizen, traveling through Europe, I need to have a stamp because obviously we're no longer in the EU. However, I didn't have a stamp, so that's not my fault. They brought us straight into the baggage section, and we just went out into the country. However, when we were leaving and I handed the passports to the security people that just check your passports and flip through the pages, so they went through my wife's and the baby's page. Obviously they're Latvian nationals, so they're part of EU still, so no issues there. But when it came to my passport, the young lady at her desk was quite rude, really. She was like just flicking through quite viciously, to be honest, like really angry. She was like, she basically turned around and said, when did you come to the country? I was like, 4 days ago. You should have it on your system, no? And she was like, where's stamp? And I said, well, I didn't have a stamp because when we came in, you guys didn't take me through to the area where we have to stamp. We just came through to the luggage and came out. Surely you should have on the system when I've entered your country, right? It's not my responsibility. I'm sure you guys should have some system knowing who's coming in and out of your country, especially if you're not bringing the people that are not in the EU to a section that they should stamp for. Anyway, long story short, she was just completely rude, and she was just like very disappointed that I didn't have a stamp in the passport, and then finally just stamped me out with a exit stamp. And it was just very, very odd. It just felt very odd. Like, what is this vicious attitude? What's this? And why were they so angry towards me? I don't really want to play the race card because I don't like to play that card, but this was the second time throughout the whole airport process where I just started feeling a little bit like, okay, why are you just being so difficult? Why are you acting strange towards me? You can see I'm with my family, with my wife and my kid. What do you think I'm going to do? Enter Poland for a boat? It's just common sense. Like, just some logical sense would be nice to have in these processes. So that was the second thing that happened in the airport. Now, the final thing that actually happened at the airport was actually the most disgusting bit of it all, to be honest. So let me give you a backstory again. So on the ticket itself, it said that we had to be at the gate at 2 p.m. to board our plane, which was for 3 p.m, so 1 hour before. So by 2 p.m, we had finished our snacks, or we were feeding the baby. So whoever has kids, you guys know that it's a bit of a process to feed a baby, clean them up, and even get them to even eat anything. But we still managed to leave. It was like maybe 10 past 2. We got to the security area. And that's where everything took so long, because firstly the queue just to get past security and all of that jazz just took forever, because again they kept me at the passport area just talking about the process of why I didn't have a stamp. So that process there took so long that not even because of that process and the queue just to get through the passport, we were probably there for around 40 minutes altogether. So we gave it amicable time. We left around 50 minutes before the boarding time to actually board the plane. So just bear that in mind in this final bit of the story when I explain it to you. So there was plenty of time. So we got to the gate around maybe 20 to 3, so there was still 20 minutes before the plane had to go. Okay, fair enough, I understand. It's fairly close, but again, it's not our fault. It was just a busy day at the airport. So long story short, we have finally got to our gate, and this, as we come down the escalator for where our gate was placed, this gentleman actually just approached us as soon as we got off the escalator. And he says, you guys flying to Bosnia, because that's where we're flying to next, and Sarajevo. And we said, yeah, why? What's the problem? He's like, the whole flight has been waiting for you. Where have you been? Completely disgusting attitude. So disrespectful. Again, bearing in mind, I was holding a baby in my hand and my wife with luggage and all of that stuff. They could see that we were like trying to get to the entrance of the plane. And I said, sorry, can you not see that we're trying to make our way? And it was very busy in the security section. And he goes, but you have time to eat and have a coffee and relax, do you? So condescending. And we just couldn't, I actually genuinely could not believe that he was saying these things. It was just disgusting. It was so rude and not respectful. Very, it does not give the airline a a good image for an airline like Polish Airways to hire people like that speak to their customers in such a disgusting manner. It was just so rude. I even asked for his name just to make sure that I can address it to the Polish Airlines to send them an email, but he refused to. He absolutely refused to. And I just said to him, look, I'm so disappointed by your attitude. Can you not see with a baby? Have some respect and respect your customers. You're Polish Airlines, you know, you're supposed to be one of the most prestigious airlines in Europe. And very disappointed with how you're speaking to us. It's extremely rude, and you should never speak to your customers like that. So that just really put a very sour taste on the whole trip, because, you know, as I mentioned earlier in this video, we love so many things and so many aspects about Poland, but it was just very disappointing that it had to end that way. But again, this is definitely not a reflection on the country or the experience we had. This is more of a reflection on the training Polish airline gives to its staff to never speak to anybody in such way, and to respect your customers with the utmost respect at all times. Doesn't matter if they're late or if they're whatever situation, you just never speak to people like that. It's so bad. And furthermore, to speak to somebody like that that's with a family and a baby in the hand, it's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It was just did not expect that, you know. It was really shocking, truly shocking. But hopefully, if Polish Airlines are watching this video, feel free to contact me on my email, and I will share with you the flight number, and hopefully you can find the individual who actually treated us in that way, and you could have a good word with him to make sure that he never does that again and speaks to his customers with a lot more respect. But to also end on a positive note, guys, honestly, as I say, we really loved Poland, and we will definitely be coming back very soon. We would love to see Krakow. Apparently it's an awesome city, and there's some also other great cities in Poland that we would love to visit, but probably not going to fly with Polish Airlines ever again unless we get some apology by the airline for how we were treated. But probably we'll fly a different airline this time so we don't get treated in such way. But yeah, honestly, we really loved it. Anybody planning to go to Poland or ever thought about it, I highly recommend it. You have a great time in the city. So many cool things to do, very affordable, super nice food, and the people are just awesome. So do get that flight booked and enjoy your time in Warsaw, because you'll have a great time. And also, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like, and if you're new here, subscribe. And also, as always, feel free to leave your comments in the section below about anything in this video or any questions you have. I'm always answering all the questions in the comments. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Good night and peace out from wherever you're watching, and see you on the next one. Good night.